This is Bay Radio.
Delighted to be joined by not only Campbell Lamont, who I haven't seen you for a while. How are we doing?
Yeah, it's been a while, Moody. I think it was about 5 years ago the last time I was on here.
Something like that, yeah.
It was about that.
And it's a footballing legend, Lee Sharpe. Manchester United, England, Leeds, of course, have been reminded to point that out. But more importantly for me, straight out of Aylesbury in there. Well done. So I'm a fellow Midlander out of Warwickshire, so I know it well. I used to live near there. I used to live out in Bearwood.
Oh, Bearwood, Bearwood, yeah.
You obviously keen golfer, as I think has been made clear. More than that, you're working towards being a pro golfer, or you are already.
I am, yeah. Well, I'm an obsessive golfer. Like most people that take the game up, you get the bug, and then everything just sort of surrounds itself around golf. I played a lot of golf when I finished football, and always sort of had a bit of a deep-rooted sort of challenge in myself that wanted to see me get on the European tour. So that's partly why we moved over to Spain. Amongst with the kids coming over and the weather and the great lifestyle, for me to practice golf, work on my golf swing, and to over the next couple of years try and see if we can get onto the seniors tour on the European tour. So that was the ideal, really. Yeah,
because as a pro sportsman, you would set yourself that sort of challenge. You wouldn't just play at it, I presume. But
that's the problem when you become a sportsman. You tend to take everything
fiercely competitive. I will add.
You have to be slightly competitive, and don't let the smile disguise what's underneath.
He was in the shop the other day. They were doing a TrackMan challenge, and he went on to the driving challenge, and his first 3 balls he nailed, but they were a little bit off centre. Yeah,
right.
So his score at that point was about 47 out of 100. So I just said one comment. I said, Lee, I scored 82 points instantly. He hit 100 in his 4th shot and 100 in his 5th shot. So that one word that I was beating him by 40 points instantly, he sprung into action. So that's the competitive side of Lee.
Yeah, sure. What is it with footballers and golf? Because people, ones that are still playing, go out when they have some free time. There's not much free time, of course, but it's a complete change, isn't it? Because it's not the team thing, and it's not someone shouting at you, the manager. It's more of an individual thing. Is it that contrast that people like?
I think there's a lot of things about golf that a lot of people like. I think athletes, find it's a little bit more calming. It's nice to walk around a big manicured garden and get the fresh air and the beauty of it. The competitiveness, no matter what standard you're at, you get your handicap, you can play whoever you want. You can also turn up and play on the same course that the tour players have just played on, which you can't do as a footballer. You can't just turn up to Old Trafford or Ellen Road and go and play there. So
that's true.
So as far as golf, that's another great thing. And generally, footballers have a lot of time on their hands. A lot of the time is rest and recuperation between games because the games come thick and fast. So you only train for short periods of time in the mornings, and as long as the weather is sort of acceptable, because we will play in sort of any weather in England, we like to get out there. Some managers don't like it. Alex Ferguson weren't too keen on it, said it tired your legs out and possibly damaged your back. So we ended up going to the pub instead. But we do prefer to be on the golf course.
Different era. It is a thing that they do look out for that. They don't want you doing anything these days, do they? I mean, I know at Barcelona, and someone when Pep Guardiola was there, went round to check that someone was in of an evening, and they weren't out doing something they shouldn't be. Yeah, that's home at a reasonable time.
Yeah, managers can tend to do that. That happened to me as well, and we were up to no good as well. So
make sure you were out.
You got to be careful. Managers just like you to sit at home, keep your feet up, rest, play PlayStation or watch TV, and like I say, get plenty of rest in your legs.
So you, where you came to on the Costa Blanca, it was probably inevitable that you'd eventually meet Campbell Lamont. But how did you sort of come together? How did you get to meet him? Or did he meet you? Through
mutual friends, really. My father-in-law lived out here and had a few friends. He knew Andy from the radio. Andy knew Campbell. A couple of other people knew Campbell. So Campbell was always sort of on my radar, if you like, that he was sort of a man that I needed to know, and anything to do with golf in the area, he's the man.
Yeah, of course. So you got how many shops have you got?
We've got 3 shops now. Over the last kind of 7 years, we've had about 10 different shops. We've done golf courses like El Bosque, Varesos, Manises, El Plantillo, Altea. We pulled out all of them. It was getting a little bit logistical nightmare. So we're now concentrating on the 3 shops that we've got. We've got one at Andara at the shopping centre. We purchased Golf Med about 2 years ago, so we now own Golf Med in Tailada, and we've got an outlet store down in Altair. So tough times right now, though. The shops are still opened.
They are,
but it's tough.
right.
It's very tough times right now. Once you look at the political landscape and then you look at the logical landscape, things are not just matching right now. It's just not making sense to me personally. And obviously we're golfers. For example, I've got 3 golf shops and I'm allowed to function and still operate as I always do, under restrictions of capacity, 30%, but still that can bring 20, 30 people into my shop. Closed environment, okay, it's a 600 square metre surface. So my staff are a little bit anxious, once they're working, because sometimes you can get 10, 20 people in a shop. Now, if you look at supermarkets and all the other shops, that can be even busier. So the workers, they are a bit anxious once they're working. And then once you look at golf, you're talking a massive expanse of open air, and golf being probably the most controlled sport of all, where maximum of 4 people are allowed out in the golf course at one time. So one person can go out, or 2 or 3, maximum of 4, and they go out in 10-minute intervals. Now that creates at least an acre of space between one 4-ball and another 4-ball. Now golf also is quite a dangerous sport in an extent, where a golf ball's flying through the air and usually in the wrong direction.
Yes, I've played with those people. Yes.
Exactly. So you tend to keep space. Social distancing is a natural response to a golfer. Keep safe, keep away, keep behind the golfer. So once you analyse what's allowed to continue in the market, like going for walks in parks open air, beaches, going for your nails getting done, your hair getting done, not in my case. Once you look at logically what Chimo Puig in the Valencia region has allowed to continue and operate, and then once you look at all the things that he's closed down, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it's just bizarre. Now, we've had 2 weeks since the 21st of January where golf courses are closed. We know tourism has been closed, quite rightly so, because we don't want people moving from country to country, spreading this disease. So, yeah, it's just getting to the stage where, even though I'm open personally, there's no point in being opened. And then we go into the mental health benefits of golf and all sports. If you look at fishing, you look at even tennis. You play tennis singles. You're away from each other. You're never going to meet. You tend to be outdoors, especially in Spain. You're playing tennis. You're not allowed to play tennis, but you can go and get your nails done. You can go and get your hair done. You can go shopping. It's just not making sense for me. So the logical argument that I would put to Chimo Puig is, where's your scientific evidence that golf is a dangerous sport during this pandemic?
But would you think they'd have looked at it that sort of, individually and that specifically, or would it just be a blanket thing that no sports?
Okay, so if you use that argument, then if you look at the 17 autonomous regions of Spain, they've all got the rights to make the decision for their autonomous region. So if you look at Murcia, Andalucía, Castilla and León, the Canary Islands, all part of Spain, part of autonomous regions, golf courses are still opened.
Right.
Where they're in similar restrictions to what we are here in Valencia. So where's the logic in that? Is there some reason why golf is more exposure to the infection rate in Valencia than it is in Murcia, or it is in Andalucía, or it is in Catalonia? Because these golf courses are still operating.
Yeah.
Now also golf's been a growing sport in Spain, and it's a massive contribution to the economy in Spain. Golf generates about 755 million per year in Spain. Now out of that money, €7 out of the €8 spent by a golfer coming to Spain is actually spent in subsectors of the economy. Bars, restaurants, shops, hotels, all the other things. So it's a massive growth in Spain for tourism. Now, as we go on like this, to me, if people see that all other regions in Spain are allowing still to play golf and Valencia is not, it's just like a mental thing that maybe resonates with golfers. Why Valencia? And I just can't make head nor tail of it.
No, I'm glad you mentioned the other sectors, because there will be, if we're being realistic, there'll be people saying, "Oh, boo-hoo,
Absolutely.
they can't go out and play golf."
Oh, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
it's the knock-on effect. I mean, it is your livelihood as well, obviously, and it's not just yourself. There's people
it is.
employed.
I mean, even if I look at my son's very sporty. He plays paddle, he plays tennis, he goes to the gym. He's 23 years of age. He's mentally drained and almost destroyed because he's at a very, very early age of adulthood. And all these things that I believe there's certain sports should be allowed to allow the young ones, and even over here, the demographic of the golfer over here tends to be 60, 70, 80 years of age. It's the only physical exercise that these guys actually get. They get to the golf course. They're aware and they want to get to the golf course. These guys are responsible individuals. They want to get to the golf course because they know it's a COVID-safe place. So these 70 and 80-year-olds, they want to go and play golf, catch up with their mates. OK, they're going to be 3-4 metres apart, closest, but they'll have a chat as they're going round for 4 hours. They'll walk for 4 miles, 5 miles every time they play golf. That basically energises them again, their mental and physical well-being. And I just can't, I honestly, as I said before, there's no logic in it, in my opinion.
And as you said, they're allowed out to go and walk across the golf course to take a daily stroll, but not to swing the club at anything.
Yeah, well, I was speaking to my brother, who's a director of a golf course in England this morning, and he was actually saying that he goes walking every day with his best mate who plays golf with on the golf course, and they'll walk for 12 miles. They'll have a chat, and they'll be within 2 metres of each other. But they're not allowed to hold a golf club. Now, if they were holding a golf club, they wouldn't be as close as what they are walking. They would actually take in more distance because they're swinging a golf club and the ball can go in any direction. So it's safer playing golf walking than it is just walking.
Sure.
So it just makes no sense.
Have you spoken to any other sort of sports, if you like? If there's anyone getting together with you, any sort of campaign going on?
No, I mean, there's a lot of movement and a lot of noise getting made within the golfing world right now from the Costa Blanca Golf Association and the Spanish Federation. They've actually written to Chimo Puig, and as to date, they've had no reply, zero. We've heard, obviously, on Saturday there was an announcement that on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, Chimo Puig is going to be making an announcement, and it looks as though they're going to extend the current confinements for another 2 weeks, which means golf and sports will still remain closed for another 2 weeks, minimum. That might go on again. Now,
yes, it was originally up to the 15th, which was, it's Monday, isn't it?
Takes it up to the end of February, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes it to the end of February.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But, I mean, Lee, what's happening with you, I suppose? Are you allowed to do anything? You can't go out and you can't go on the range, I suppose, and do anything?
No, I can't go on the range. No. Obviously, the premise is if you're a professional sportsman, you can still do your job. But obviously, with golf courses shut, no practice facilities. My only thing is I'll get down to Campbell's shop and use his TrackMan and simulator down there. So that's about as much as we're getting on at the moment.
You got one of those big nets in your back garden?
I've ordered one from the shop. It's
yes,
on the way.
It's a terrific thing.
It's on the way.
I see Andy went and got one of them as well. He said his first ball went over the net into the neighbour's garden.
Yeah, that'll be about right.
It's like any ball sport, it's just to control any ball is so difficult to be accurate. And golf, because you're swinging that club right round the back of your head, to actually bring that mass on the ball at the right time with a square club face, it's very, very difficult. But it's so enjoying, and everybody hits that one shot, Moody, where it just goes exactly where they want, and that keeps on bringing everybody back.
It keeps you going back, yes. I still remember last time I played I went to see my dad in Canada, and I hit this beauty. It was over a mound of something, and I just chipped it. It went straight over and right on the green, about 2 foot away from the hole, and that makes you think,
I've got this game.
Yeah, I've got this nailed now. And the thing is, as you said, people they plan ahead. They're looking to go to book a holiday based around golf, but they don't know what they can do at the moment.
Yeah,
it's the uncertainty.
Yeah, listen, the whole country, everybody here, everybody's got their own issues, their own problems. For me, it's the mental health and the physical well-being of the whole population. They have to look at certain areas within sporting activities, which should always be the last thing to close down. So if we look at it like a traffic light system, red, amber and green, Moody, red is everybody's shut down like we did in March once it was into total lockdown. I get that. We're all in it together. The virus has got out of control. We're protecting the health service. I get that. Green, we're all open. We're back to normality, which is going to be a while now. While we're in amber, I think it's the responsibility of the government to look at sporting activities that are safe and allow them. OK, there is some sporting activities that we know can't be safe, like football. If you've got 22 people in a certain area, Lee will probably know the area of a football pitch, running about, rugby, like we've seen at the weekend when Scotland beat England. I don't know if you watched it.
Didn't see that, no.
Did you watch it?
Passed me by.
Funny
okay,
that would get
I can understand that there's a chance of the virus spreading amongst the people. I can understand that, but there is certain sports, fishing for example, by yourself up in the mountains in a loch. Should that be banned? Is that not safe? Is golf not safe? Is tennis not safe? Is there not certain sports that once the government, rather than putting a blanket over sports and saying everything closed, right guys, we're going to put them into the really dangerous ones and the ones we know and are proven to be safe, let them continue. It will bring more people into tennis, it will bring more people into golf, it will promote sports because people want to be active, they want to keep their mind active, they want to be sociable. So in my opinion, golf, number one, should not be closed during the pandemic unless it's total lockdown. Then I'll say fair enough.
I seem to recall last year after the first actual full lockdown here, you did get back out reasonably quickly compared to others.
The first sport to open. Why? Because it's safe and we put safety measures in place. You pay electronically before you arrive. You arrive 10 minutes before your tee time. You go straight to the tee. You don't touch the rakes because there isn't any. You don't touch the flags. You're not allowed to share a buggy unless you come from the same household. And as soon as you finish your game, you get in the car and vacate the premises within 10 minutes. You're in acres of open air space with animals, with wildlife, with beautiful landscapes. You're walking, you're getting some conversation and bonding with your playing partners at social distancing. Everybody, I played virtually every 2 or 3 days from when it opened. And I'll never forget the release of tension the very first time I went onto a golf course, Moody. It was wonderful.
Sure.
I forgot how wonderful it was. My spirits instantly lifted. I get people coming into the shop every day and they've got so much time in their hand they want to talk to you and they're all so depressed. They're feeling weak. They've no exercise. They're having to go for a walk, which is boring for them. They want to go and play the sport that they love.
Yeah. And if someone's never played it, so probably they won't fully understand that. But
well, if you've never played it, try it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll love it. And you'll be frustrated as hell, but you will play that one shot that will bring you back.
Yeah, just do 9 to begin with.
And it's not as expensive as a lot of people think golf is quite an elitist sport and it's only for the rich. It's not. You can pick up a set of clubs for €100, €150 second hand. You can buy a brand new set. We sell brand new sets from Wilson at €350. That's your investment. You can play golf at €20, €25. You only need to play once a month. So if you look over a year, it's not as expensive as a lot of people think it is. And you get to meet so many lovely people, and especially here, all different nationalities, Moody. It's so multicultural over here. You get to meet so many people. Yeah,
and where you are in the sector, because we feel for the other sectors as well, particularly bars and restaurants and the like, and it's, we're talking about golf particularly, but you would have put, and the courses would have put all these restrictions in place, taken a lot of time to do that, and expense as well, same as bars, and then they get closed again.
Absolutely.
And they were doing everything that they were told to, and
I mean, going to a bar is probably my favourite sport, Moody. Right, so I'm probably a scratch handicapper going to a bar, so I'm the first one that's frustrated that I can't go to a bar. I can understand it to a certain extent, but I don't understand the outdoor space of a bar. But listen, it's a virus, it's deadly. We need to protect the National Health Service. So when we all go into full lockdown, let's go into it together. Yeah. If it's not full lockdown, keep the things open that are safe. Don't close things that are safe. That gives you more frustration and more tension to your people. Yeah, and what's important is that you are acknowledging that it's a serious business. You're not saying, there's no chance. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. I can see it. I know people in the health service. I see it. And some of the hospitals are getting absolutely overwhelmed in certain places, and you have to protect them. So I'm all for that. But I'm not for, once we're not in full lockdown, to close things that are totally and utterly safe, i.e. golf. Yeah, simple as that. Yeah, Lee, I'm sorry, we've had you in. It's Lee Sharpe, and I haven't a lot to ask you. Sorry about that, but you go along with what Campbell's saying. Obviously, I think he's speaking sense for once. I think it's. I do think it's important. I think the mental health side of it, and not just golf. I think if there's a sport or an activity that people can do that's safe, that gets them out of the house, that clears the head a little bit, that feels as though they're not so restricted and being told what to do, sort of like children, if you like, and giving them a bit of freedom to get out and see the pals and let their head down a little bit. I think it's really tough at the moment for everyone. Because they say you're allowed out to exercise, but people like doing their exercise via playing a sport. It's boring just going for a run or having a walk. They want to get playing paddle or golf, whatever. Yeah, like I said, paddle, tennis. They're all pretty safe sports. You still see cyclists on the road. That's not barred. Someone comes off a bike, they're going to start putting the hospital service
under more pressure. Not that I want cycling banned or anything. I'm just confused over, what's safe and what's not, and why it's safe and why it's not safe. So.
I just think it's been a blanket ban, hasn't it? They haven't looked at individual sports, I don't think. I'm guessing Chimo Puig isn't a golfer. I don't know.
The question has been asked, but if it is a blanket ban, why is it not a blanket ban in Catalonia? Why is it not a blanket ban in Murcia and all the different regions that allowed the golf courses to remain open while they closed other sports?
Sure.
So there's no consistency, is there?
No, I guess not. And we'll see what happens with the restrictions as far as going past the 15th. But anything else you needed to add while you're here?
No, just that I beat Lee the last time I played him. I think that was the only thing.
That's why you did to drop that
which
in.
was the only time.
Got to finish on that.
But he's any good though, isn't he? I mean,
he's a very good golfer, and he's going to get better actually, and that's why Lee's here to practice and hone his game.
I've got him on Instagram, so he's pretty much every day when it was open with a bucket of balls.
We're down there most days at Campbell's. He's getting a bit busy now though. He's started filling my practice area, which I'm not too happy about, to be honest.
Right.
All under control, though, one person at a time. And they get their slot. Yeah.
You have got some.
We've got a simulator. It's TrackMan 4, which is the leading apparatus in golf for tracking the ball flight, and the club head is 2 radars. So it detects the club head, it detects what happens at impact, and then it projects it onto a simulator, so you see the ball flying, and it gives you an abundance of numbers. Where for a professional coach, you can use the numbers to basically pinpoint certain faults in somebody's swings. So it's a fantastic thing, So we get people in just practicing one by one, and using the facility.
So at least they're swinging and keeping. But it's not the same, is it?
No, it's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same.
No, okay. So clgolf.es is the website anyway for any details of the shops and the stuff that you can do. Well, we wish you all the best with it. I hope you get back out there soon. And so you don't want to lose a step along the way by lack of match practice, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're working towards what you're working towards there.
Yeah, well, it's the same for everyone, isn't it? We time is all we've got, so we like to do what we can when we can.
This is Bay Radio.